Oh, hello, Leo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If Leo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And it's the Star card. Wonderful energy. I think you're a person that is tremendously confident. And I know everyone says this about Leo, but I feel like you really know who you are. Yeah. I feel like you are, you have enough sort of self-awareness and self-knowledge to admit when you're wrong, to admit when you don't know something, to admit when you need help. Right? And so it's different than just having that kind of stereotypical Leo pride, you know? I think it's a real knowledge of self. I think that you have started to answer the question, who am I? Okay? I think you're getting a very strong sense of who you are. I think in every activity that you participate in, you bring your own unique sort of flavor, your own unique spirit to the thing. Yeah. I feel like you have a very strong spiritual life, even if you might not be into the routine of a spiritual practice. Maybe you're not in that routine now. Maybe you were before. Maybe now you're in a period of kind of having fallen out of the routine. You still have a very intense connection with spirit. Okay, in sort of in really the essential way, you know, of spontaneity, not of the dry sort of mundane ritual and routine. You have the spirit of the thing. You have the passion of the spiritual energy in you. Okay? And so I think that this allows you then to feel the spiritual world in everything that you do. Yeah. I think you're someone with tremendous insight. I think people look to you as sort of as a spiritual guide. You know? I feel like you probably have some sort of dare I say, following, right? People that come to you for answers. Maybe you have a blog or a website, or you write a newsletter, or you have a YouTube channel or something like this, or you have friends that kind of, or maybe even students. Maybe you're even a kind of spiritual teacher. I feel like the divine energy really flows through you. You may even be a medium or a channel of some kind. Okay, we're going to put this energy into some context, and we're going to see what might be coming through with this star. This is very, very good energy. Okay, we've got the Eight of Wands. We've got the Fool. We've got the Moon. Okay, yeah, I see that you have gone through a period of kind of a dark night. Okay, and I feel like you're coming out the other side of some darkness, a dark forest kind of feeling, but you're on the other side of that. Okay, and spirit has led you out. And that's what I was going to say. The other half of the star card, while the first half is kind of answering the question, who am I? The second half of that question is, why am I here? Where am I going? Right? And I think spirit has led you through this, the dark wilderness of the Moon card, in order to discover yourself and know yourself. And now you're moving forward. And I think that you see the Eight of Wands as being a very positive energy, in that it's your creative energy applied in any direction in your life. Knowing why you're here, knowing where you're going, doesn't mean that you have one very specific and particular path that leads to a very specific and particular destination. It means that you're channeling the spiritual energy in everything that you do. So I think the Eight of Wands is really poignant in that respect. We've got the Eight. Oh, I've got the Eight of Swords. Maybe that's a difficulty for you right now, is sort of understanding that it may not feel like a path. The chaos, maybe the chaos of having no path is the path, right? The spontaneity, the sort of the options, and the sort of the non-specificity of where you're going, right? It's more kind of about the journey itself, right? And all of the different things that it takes you to in life, all of the different avenues and detours and all the sights that you see on this journey. Maybe there's a desire in you to see what the bigger picture is, or to see what the end result might be, or what the destination is. Okay. Interesting. Now we've got that. We've got the Queen of Wands, and maybe the Queen of Wands is sort of understanding the reason why there is this, what this fire really means, right? Because the Queen of Wands has water and fire, and the water to me sort of feels like that understanding, right? The wisdom and understanding of the path in all of the what might be chaos right now. Maybe there's a lot of things happening at once. Maybe you're being pulled, literally being pulled in many different directions. What you're looking for is the understanding of what all of this means to clear up the kind of confused swords energy. We have the Nine of Pentacles over here. We have a Knight of Swords, a Seven of Pentacles, and, oh gosh, the Wheel of Fortune. This is a really big win, especially coming off the Seven of Pentacles, something that you're working on that maybe you're kind of thinking, well, that didn't work, I got to try something else. No, wait a minute. I think it's going to work. I think you're going to be very successful at whatever you're working on right now, whatever one of your many interests or one of your many sort of activities are. I feel like you have a lot of irons in the fire, which I think you like having a lot of irons in the fire, but sometimes you kind of stand back and be like, what am I doing? Why? How does all of this sort of join together? Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. Oh, we just got a whole bunch of cards flopping out there. I guess it's going to be a long reading. Our mystery card's going to go here with Frankenduck, because we haven't thought of a better name for Frankenduck yet. We're not going to look at that card under Frankenduck until the very end of the reading, but it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need. Okay, now we're going to save these cards. I know you noticed that the Hanged Man, it was actually an inverted Hanged Man that came out with the rest of these cards. We're going to put them over here too. We'll look at them maybe when we get around to talking about that Eight of Swords. Okay, to see if we can get some clarification on that, because the Eight of Swords is sort of the analysis, and right now you're sort of looking at all of the details of your life, and you're maybe with the, you see we have two eights, right? Maybe you're trying to see that all of these different irons you have in the fire, all of these different wills, all of these different intentions and these different ideas, these different inspirations, these different passions that you have that are going in just many different directions. The Eight of Swords might be you trying to figure out, okay, which one is the right one? Which one is the real one? Which one do I keep? And which ones, if any, do I need to sort of jettison and get rid of? So we're looking for clarity on which one of these directions to keep. We have an 8 and an 8, and it kind of feels like you're not sure if you keep all of them or none of them, or if you sort of put all of your focus onto one particular path. Okay. I do feel with the Eight of Wands that it's kind of the task is kind of narrowing things down, that you have a lot of options. They need to be narrowed down a little bit. Okay, because maybe the three that are pointed toward that rainbow are really the ones that mean the most to you, that lead to the kind of pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, that really lead to the satisfaction that you want. They're all good. These are all good because they're that enlightened expression of your creative soul, right? But I think maybe there's only a few of them that really lead to the kind of success that you're after. So Spirit's saying right now to sort of narrow down your options, narrow down your focus in life to, doesn't need to be 100 things, maybe just do like 20, just narrow it down a little bit, right? You can still have a lot of irons in the fire. You can still have a great many hobbies and interests and things that you're trying to excel at. But maybe we need to sort of narrow it down to 2 or 3 or 4 that you can handle let's say you got a week, there's 7 days in a week, and you've got 10 different sort of classes that you're taking, projects that you're working on, a relationship that you're trying to work on, the career you're trying to work on, and on top of that, you're in school, you're doing a martial art, you're doing a sport, you're doing an art class, all of these different things, right? Maybe there's not enough days of the week to accommodate everything. We've got to limit it to just a few so that you can really excel in those few, okay? So anyway, we've got a nice cluster of major arcana energy here. I love it. And of course, the jackpot, the biggest win of your life here with that Wheel of Fortune at the end. This is going to work out very, very well for you. Whatever your life is, however it's going now, it's going to be great. Whatever it was in the past that wasn't so great, it's going to be great. Okay, we're making all this forward movement. And again, I'm still holding it, all of the Eight of Wands, all of these different paths are wonderful, nice, beautiful, right? Let's just narrow it down so that you can really, really excel, really get that jackpot for a couple of these, right? Because if we try to spread our energy out too thin, we may never really excel the way you want to in any one of the paths, or it may just take a very long time, right? So we're sort of narrowing things down. But I like that we have the moon. The moon, the star, let's say, as the sort of the middle energy here. The star is showing you where you've been and why, right? That path of self-discovery, that dark night of the soul. And then the star is showing you why you're here and where you're going. And that, of course, is the Fool. That, of course, is your unknown, kind of random, spontaneous adventure. Okay? Spirit's saying that you have a connection with the Norse pantheon, the Norse gods and goddesses. And maybe the Hanged Man here really does represent Odin. But I feel that there's a connection with the Norse gods and goddesses for you, yeah? I like having the Fool as sort of the unconscious card here, the one that's beneath the surface, because it's really that inner awareness. It's kind of like as if you've really polished the mirror, and you're able to see yourself as just sort of this infinite being that isn't tied down to any one particular character trait, one particular quality. You're not identifying with your heart and mind. Let's say the mind mostly right now is kind of what we need to work on, because the Fool is pure spirit. The Fool is just this sort of wandering spiritual energy that is just flowing wherever it is most needed. It's kind of, in a way, it feels like a watery kind of card, right? But it's just, it's being blown by the spiritual energy into many different places, right? And so it's kind of like this idea of not having a particular goal in mind, not having a very strict, structured plan for life, just kind of saying, I'm being led by my soul, led by spirit, led by my intuition, led by the starlight, right? We're sort of navigating by starlight here, rather than having a very definite plan. I'm going to do A, B, C, that's going to lead to D, and then E, F, G, and whatever the rest of the alphabet are, elemental P. We've got some fire, but what we're missing here is water energy. And I think the water energy is interesting. Of course, the Hanged Man is pure water, okay? And the Hanged Man here, I guess it's a good time to bring out the Hanged Man. Now, all of these cards came out upside down, right? And I don't usually read reversals. It's just the way I was shuffling. They came out as a group. So don't read too much into their position, okay? But we want to take this one particularly because it is pure water energy. But this is you sort of rising up out of the water energy. See, usually we'll see the Hanged Man like this, and it kind of is like a diving down into this very emotional state, right? But now we're sort of rising up out of it. It's kind of like it's like those movie kind of tropes, where somebody's coming out of the swimming pool, and it's in slow motion, and they just come out, and they're just glistening, and the water's dripping off them and things, Kind of reminds me of that movie Splash. And that's kind of like triumphing over the water energy, triumphing over maybe this very emotional time in your life, triumphing, I think, over the moon energy, which is this sort of, the sort of dark night, the dark, scary forest, the wilderness that where you're emerging out of it. This is you emerging out of it. And what I feel like it represents is really no longer identifying with all of that emotional stuff, the baggage, just the emotions themselves, right? Understanding that they are a component of your soul. They are not, the be all and end all of your existence. Okay. And that's what I mean with the Fool is sort of, the Fool has transcended the heart and the mind, is now just pure awareness, And I think that really the task is to do the same thing with the mental energy, because I feel like you're still under some kind of mental stress. So we've got our fire, we're missing the water energy, although see now, as we're getting through these cards, we see that there is some water energy in here, actually quite a bit. So we've worked to transcend some of this emotional energy over here. I think that's sort of that we're at the tail end of that. Okay, so we've got our fire. We don't have any water. We've got our air in these two positions, and we've got our earth in these two positions. So really now I feel that it is kind of it's an issue of your mind sort of getting out of this analysis. We're sort of over intellectualizing, we're mentalizing all of this creative energy that you are sort of feeling, right? And I don't know exactly what your situation is, but with the Eight of Wands, I do feel like you have a lot of things that need your attention, a lot of things that you're sort of involved with, right? It's kind of like you're a busy person. Like every night of the week, you've got some other thing that you're engaged with, okay? Whether that's career, job, employment, whether it's friends, family, something extracurricular. Maybe you're retired. Maybe this is all of your sort of, your projects and your activities, either around the house or with other people, right? I don't feel that you're very social right now, okay? I feel like you're kind of mostly doing your own thing, okay? The moon card in the background here, I do feel that this was a learning experience for you. I feel like you've gone through sort of an extensive time of, it really feels like a challenging time. And I don't know if we should call it despair or uncertainty, or if there was a lack of clarity. And I don't know what that was involving. It was definitely an emotional situation. Maybe it has something to do with family or a relationship. I feel like you're coming out of that now, okay? And coming out of that puts you into this Eight of Wands. There's a lot of options now. You're involved in a lot of things. Maybe when you were in that moon energy, you didn't really have a strong sense of purpose. See, the moon card is sort of the narrowing of the psychic aperture. It's the waning moon. It's the darkening of the light. It is the closing of the third eye, right? And so, it's kind of the absence of the psychic energy in a way. Okay, and it almost feels as if we were on the sea, sort of without a rudder. Okay, I feel like you're coming out of that period, and now I feel like you're sort of rebounding, where you're putting yourself into so many different things. Because back here, maybe there wasn't really much of anything. So now here, very busy time. Okay, and in a way, it feels like you're sort of trying to make up for lost time, by giving your attention to so many different things and trying to make progress very, very quickly. So I feel like you've gone from kind of 0 to 60, really, really fast. And the Eight of Swords up here now, I think, is sort of some mental energy where we're starting to get a little bit stressed out about things. We're starting to wonder, okay, what am I really doing? Why am I really doing it? What is the point of all of this? And how is it, how am I going to really achieve the kind of the sense of meaning and purpose and destiny and all of that we've got here with this star card, okay? And I feel like this is what you're kind of hoping for. This is, this is a Sagittarius energy, and I feel like we've had Sagittarius referenced in your readings for a while now. I feel like Sagittarius comes up in everybody's readings lately. But this is kind of what you're hoping to achieve for yourself, is that sense of purpose that then is manifesting through your creative energy. Okay, we have water and fire here. And the Eight of Swords, of course, is like we're trying to sort things out mentally. And I think there's some stress there, and I think it's causing you to sort of overthink, and we're overanalyzing. We're trying to maybe figure out which one of these is the right one, which one we keep, which one we throw away. And it's starting to get kind of confusing, and we're kind of spinning around and around and around. If we don't do something to break this Eight of Swords, we're going to be left not doing anything, okay? Here we have the Seven of Cups that was here too. And I think the Seven of Cups is kind of back here with this water energy as well, because the Seven of Cups, and the reason I bring it up now, is because the Seven of Cups is kind of like being enamored by all of these different paths, all these different desires that you have, right? And I wonder if that's kind of tied into the Eight of Wands and the Eight of Swords a little bit, because it's we want a lot of different things. We're not sure, is that just me? Like, that's just a desire. I just want that, you know? Or is that really that deeper sense of that's my purpose? This is something that really speaks to your soul, right? Is it a surface level desire, or is it something deeper? Okay. And I think that maybe this card should be back here somewhere, where we've had a lot of different sort of paths that we've taken in life, a lot of things that we've wanted, and maybe we've achieved a lot, but then there's the realization that wasn't really satisfying my soul, you know? So it's the idea of having desires, and we see all of the different ways that we could satisfy our desires, but none of them really satisfy our soul, right? None of them have given you that sense of purpose, you know? And I think that kind of speaks to the Seven of, see, we got a 7 and a 7, right? 8 and the 8. We got the 7 and the 7 over here. So I think that speaks to the really the lack of fruit, right? That this is not something that has really grown and blossomed into what we really, really want. So it's kind of been, it's been unfulfilling, right? This didn't grow, it didn't flourish. It was cut short. It didn't give us that sort of jackpot feeling like, yes, this was, you know, this was worth all of the effort, and this was a desire that really satisfies you. It's kind of like, with the Seven of Cups, you know, that you're craving something sweet, and then you eat it and you're just like, nah, that didn't really do it, you know? So maybe you're craving more sweet, or you have so much and then you kind of feel ill afterwards, and it's just kind of like, didn't really go as planned, you know? I also want to show you here, we have the Eight of Cups as well. We're getting all the eights here. And the Eight of Cups, I think, was really the progression. Now, we're kind of talking about, to me, feels like we're still talking about things in the past. Okay, so that we had the Seven of Cups. It was we were chasing things that we thought we wanted, but it turns out we didn't really enjoy it. It didn't really do it for it. Didn't satisfy. Didn't hit the spot, right? So the Eight of Cups is then you walking away from those things. There's nothing wrong with fulfilling those sort of surface level desires. If you're hungry, you eat, you know. But I think the Eight of Cups is showing you going off on this other quest, going into the darkness of that wilderness, following Spirit, to know yourself, to find out what your desires really are. And I think the Hanged Man is you. I think where you probably currently are is emerging from that period of time with that sense of, I know it. I know what I want now. I know myself, and I know my creative power. And I think what you're doing is realizing that it's not in the satisfaction of any one particular thing. And I say this on the channel a lot. It's not about what you're doing necessarily. It's about how and why. And I think how it affects you, how it makes you feel while you're doing it and afterwards, you know, and that deeper sense of satisfaction. Of course, we've got the World card, we've got your Power card, the Leo Strength card, and we have a Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords, I think, is also, can kind of go up here to where you are simplifying things. You're not overthinking it. You're just going where your creative energy leads you. Okay, we're not trying to, not really trying to understand. This quest for understanding sometimes can prevent us from really experiencing things. We want to sit around and we want to understand why things are, how they are, what they mean. Yeah, that's good stuff. But not if it takes the place of actual experience, of actual doing. Okay? And so we see we're kind of quieting the mind down here with that Queen of Swords. We're taking action. It is your power card. We're ringing the bell for you. You're coming into the very best time of your life in terms of your creative energy. We've got the World here also to go with the Wheel of Fortune. I think it's going to be, you're moving into a very, very productive, very creative, very successful, very abundant time in your life. Now we're going to move to the path of the serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is free. It doesn't cost anything. It helps the channel. And I feel like we need to help out all of the tarot channels that we really value. All of your favorite tarot readers. Like their videos, subscribe to the channel, leave comments, all that kind of stuff to kind of keep them in the algorithm. I know I'm your #1 favorite, but every tarot reader that you value here on YouTube, let's show our support. All right. I appreciate you. Your general energy, of course, is the 9 of Pentacles. And now we're finally transcending, right? Because we had 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Now we got the 9. Now we finally have moved past all the struggling of the 7s and the 8s, And so now we've got this 9, and the 9 of Pentacles is you seeing the visible signs of progress. It's kind of like we don't have to have a plan and sort things out and understand why and how and where and all this kind of stuff. What we have to do is act and see what the results are. See? The 9 of Pentacles is you witnessing, experiencing, tasting the fruit of your labor. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, right? You can analyze the recipe all day. You can look at the pudding in a microscope, but just taste the damn pudding, right? And see what it does. See how it feels. See if it gives you that sense of satisfaction. So this really is about the behavior, the actions that we're taking in the world, okay? And I think that's what the Queen of Wands really wants you to do, is take that action, yeah? So the 9 of Pentacles is the visible signs of progress. You know that any one of these paths has produced something, a feeling, an experience, an interaction with somebody. You can see that you've been acting in the world, right, in the physical world, doing things, right? And then you can sort of gauge and measure in your own way how meaningful that is. How satisfying was that for you? Did that really speak to your soul, right? So we got to get away from this idea of having to sort of mentally figure everything out first and then taking action. No, let's act, and then we can reflect, And I think that's what we're doing with the air energy. See, now in the environment, we've got the Knight of Swords. I think there might be a Libra energy very close to you. I feel like you're someone who's very respected by your friends. I feel like you don't have a huge group. You're more kind of a quality over quantity kind of person. But the people that you do have in your life really they respect and value your opinion. And I think they are very often asking your opinion. And I think that they want your participation in things. Everybody's trying to always get you to do something with them. Because they kind of feel like, well, if Leo's going to do it with me, I know it's going to be fun, and I know it's going to be successful. People really recognize your creativity in that way. Feels like to me. Okay. But the Knight of Swords here, that sort of Libra energy, it might be talking about a particular person in your life. Okay, now we don't have a lot of court cards here, but we do have these two. We have a Knight and a Queen. We have air and fire, both very active. And I don't know if this is talking about one of your very closest friends. And together you're both sort of very, very active, very creative. Maybe this is like, this is the buddy you go skydiving with, And I think that this person really is, they're really they're really close to you, and it's somebody that you've been talking to. Okay, and I'm wondering if this is like a sort of a best friend thing, but I wonder if there's feelings there. I wonder if there's tension there, because I feel that two very strong personalities, but I feel like there's somewhere in your life there's sort of a romantic tension that nothing's been expressed. Again, we don't have any real water cards here, right? So it kind of feels like there is a potential for a romance there, but there's distance. There's just kind of, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to go there. You know, it's kind of like intentionally like keeping yourself from engaging those feelings. Does that make sense? It could be the other way around, that they really have the feelings for you, and you're just saying, no, friends only, right? But I think you're usually a very straightforward person. See, this card is in the position of the environment, and it is a fiery air card, right? So I think that you're somebody who, people with you, they really know what they're getting. I mean, you don't mince words. You tell people like it is. If they say, hey, let's have a romance, you say, I'm not interested. You know, it's not like, oh, I'll think about, no, it's, I don't want it. You know, you're very straightforward and direct, and I think that's another reason people really value your conversation. Okay, I think somebody is going to be asking you for money soon. Okay, I don't know if it's the same person we're talking about, but somebody is going to be in need of some resource from you. Okay, so obviously the first kind of thought is money. They're going to ask you for some sort of research. Could be a cup of sugar, but who knows, right? The Seven of Pentacles is what we're trying to avoid. Yeah. And what we're trying to avoid is the starting and stopping of things. To get so immersed in something and then kind of halfway through be like, nah, I don't want it. You know, but sometimes that's what we need to do. Because again, it's not about rationalizing or mentalizing the path and trying to kind of decide. And I think I should rephrase that. Doing the mental work is important, because we've got to sort of narrow it down, right? We can't just start it at the, like look in the dictionary and start with the letter A, right? And we're just going to try everything A to Z until we find what works. No, we sort of have to think about it and narrow things down to a handful of choices. And then I think it's all about experimenting and acting and going through with those things, engaging with those parts of life to see what really speaks to you. So sometimes we need to get sort of halfway down the road and then be like, you know what? I don't like this road. I'll check that one off the list. No, that one wasn't for me. I'll try the next one. Okay? It's okay that we abandon things sometimes. And I know the Seven of Pentacles is not usually a very good card. I've got to hurry up. This reading's getting long. It's usually not a very good card. It means that something didn't grow all the way. Something stopped short of success, right? Something did not bear fruit. Something failed. Yeah, maybe it failed because you just kind of said, I don't care about finishing it anymore. Okay? It's not what we want, but sometimes it's what we need so that we can stop wasting time on things that do not satisfy us. Maybe we just sort of think or feel in our heart mind that, oh yeah, I want that thing. So I'm going to work really hard to get it, and then we get it and we say, I don't want it. It didn't really, it wasn't it. So we have to go through some things like this. And the sooner you realize that something you're just not feeling it, it's okay to back out of it. It's okay to say, I'm not feeling it anymore, and I'm going to go ahead and say no. Because what we're really looking for is that Wheel of Fortune. And I think that this really is the success and the abundance and the blessings and the profits and all of the fruit of all of your labor coming in for you. I feel like it is the biggest win of your life as you do find. See, here we have the world. The world is sort of the completion. There's a lot of starts and stops. We've abandoned things halfway through, and that's okay. But you're finding the thing, or the 2 or 3 or 4 things that are going to lead you to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Okay? And I think that you have gone through a lot of things that you have started and then abandoned. Don't feel guilty about that. Don't even worry about it. It's good that you had that experience. You know what's not for you, so you can focus more of your creative, fiery energy on those things that do work for you, so that you can complete it all the way and get that big win, right? And reap the rewards. That is beautiful. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. All right. Now, I don't know why Spirit's saying that you've been on some sort of I don't know if it's a game show, but you had some sort of a contest with an audience around. I don't know I don't know if it was televised or whatever it was, but it feels like it was some sort of it feels like a game show. It feels like you were answering questions and then doing some sort of activities, something like that. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but I wonder if you kind of won that game, whatever it was. Yeah. Anyway, let's look at the mystery card. Let's see what Frankenduck has for us today. I would like to see the water energy. I would like to see either the Empress, or I'd like to see a 9 or a 10 of cups. Maybe a 6 of cups would be okay. But a 9 or a 10, I think, would be really good right now. Maybe it'll be a Knight of Cups. Let's see. No, a Page of Swords. Page of Swords, okay. Page of Swords sort of starts from the beginning. Learns a new thing. Kind of is saying, okay, well, that thing didn't work over here. I'm going to try this new path. I'm going to try this next option, this next thing on my list. And maybe it's something that you've never tried before. Maybe this is sort of the key. That this is something that you are sort of starting at the ground level, entry level kind of thing. It's kind of like one day you just come in and says, I'm going to learn fencing, I don't know anything about it, but I'm going to learn it now. I'm going to start, something that you literally have not, maybe you haven't even heard of it yet, right? And you're going to say, that's what I'm going to do now. That's what I'm going to pursue. Okay. And I think it's important that we understand the Page of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the 8 of Swords, the Knight of Swords, because your mind is going to really wreak havoc on things. And we have to be able to distinguish when we get to the point where you're not feeling it anymore and you sort of want to abandon things and quit, right? It's like I said, it's okay to do that. We need to just allow ourselves to experiment, realize it's not for us, and then go in a different direction. That's okay. But if you find that you are always doing that, and mark where in the process that happens. Is it when things are starting to get difficult? Is it when you're kind of up against a wall and there's some sort of a point in your development that you're struggling, and then you say, I'm not feeling it anymore, I'm gonna take off? That's mostly this air energy that the mind is just saying, oh, you know what, there's an obstacle, things are getting a little tough, let's get out of here. You have to be able to push past that point. And I know that's really the most difficult part of any of this, is knowing when Spirit is saying, that's not meant for you, do something else, or when it's your own mind saying, it's too hard, I want to quit. Okay? You've got to learn to distinguish between the two of those. And as we sort of learn how to differentiate, how to be discerning in that way, we're in store for a lot of jackpots, a lot of big wins, a lot of satisfaction, a lot of growth, a lot of abundance. And you're going to see that you're good at a lot of things. You're going to be really successful at a lot of these things. We have to push past that point of, it's too hard, I want to quit, right? So anyway, long reading. Sorry that it took so long. We're going to move into the extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Leo are on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything. And also leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.